concerned about the access to the green space for people that maybe don't have the resources that other people do have.
Yeah, and I am too, Mark, because and it's not just financial accessibility; it's physical as well. There can be lots of barriers, and we see it. Our parks are probably amongst the most visited in the GTA. We average between 1.3, 1.5 million visitors a year. That's a lot of people coming to our parks, and so we are an organization that really looks, to observe, to walk in the footsteps of the people who come. And we partner with a lot of local community groups. And we've learned a few things. There are financial barriers. There are transportation barriers as well. You can't, as much as I said, our parks are getting to be near urban, you still need a car to get to them. There's no public transit that'll take you to any of our parks. I think that's a failure in sort of broader planning. But even financially, the one thing to mention here is for us at Conservation Halton, um, we do not receive, nor do we ask for, any municipal funding, any tax dollars, to keep it simple, for our park operations. And so while the Conservation Authority receives municipal funding to undertake its regulatory roles like flood forecasting and management and operations, like our role regulating development, to keep people and property safe from flooding, and all of the engineering works that we undertake, we don't actually take any tax dollars to operate our parks. That's not just operating dollars, but also all of the infrastructure that's there, the buildings, the roads, the facilities, the ski lifts, which are doing really well finally now that winter is officially here. All of those have to be maintained, and so there's that reality of our conservation authority not using any tax subsidies, which means that we have to run this in a financially responsible way to ensure that these spaces continue to be there for future generations, that they continue to have good levels of services and facilities, that people actually feel safe when they arrive, and that we have funds to continue to improve other forms of barriers to accessibility, like upgrading our. When we built these things in the 50s and 60s and 70s, there were no ramps, there were no accessible washrooms, there were no AODA standards, and so we've been retrofitting everything, as we go along, including our first ever fully accessible trail in what's our newest park, Area 8. So you can go around the entire lake and back into the parking lot, and it's fully accessible, AODA compliant. We're very proud of that. But we have 112
Now,
kilometers of trails, and we need to do a lot more on that front.
now, Area 8 is for all of us that don't understand the lingo. Where is Area 8?
So Area 8 is in Milton, Steeles Avenue. It's our newest park. It used to be a quarry, a limestone quarry, owned by Barrick Gold. CH acquired it from them, about 30 years ago, and we spent the last 20 or so years rehabilitating it. And so, even that's part of the story, right? Is yes, today we have Area 8 and it's got an accessible trail, and it's going to be fantastic for generations to come. But it took 20 years to rehabilitate it, so that it doesn't look like a lunar landscape, which is what it did when the quarry was operating, but actually looks like a welcome green space. So Area 8 is it's still a working name, believe it or not, although we've had it for 2 years. It's our eighth park. And that's why it's called Area 8, and we're still working on naming it, and we've done a lot of community consultations, and it's been made clear to us, and we're very happy to see this. But the overwhelming response was to work with our Indigenous partners to come up with a name, and that's what we're working on. But until we get that, it's Area 8.